Okay, so the first thing I want to show you is the drawing with the glue gun. So I've got my high temp glue gun here, which I like because the glue flows out of it more rapidly or more fluidly, but low temp is fine too. So let's say I did, you know, this is my line on my canvas. It's important that you're squeezing and drawing at the same time. So you're touching and squeezing. I've had people like squeezing up in the air, wondering, why is it making this blob? Okay. All right. And on my canvas, I filled in big shapes, big areas. Okay. So you're drawing, you're outlining with your glue gun. Okay, so now so what I did was after that dried and I gessoed it and that dried, I taped my canvas to my work surface here. And then I taped, this is my print paper, or you could use a drawing paper. So it's like the hinge of a book. I want it to line up and register correctly every time. Okay, I'm actually going to pull 2 prints and you'll see why. The first one I will set aside and then I will use later. Okay, so I'm going to start with, I'm going to focus on blues tonight. I'm going to start with this ultramarine light blue. And I've got these kind of cheapy house painting brushes, but I like them because of the brushy marks they make. I'm adding a little bit of water to my blue, not a lot. I'm applying it. Yeah, you don't want it too watery. You want it kind of thick. Almost, you're using it like a printer's ink. So you want it fairly thick. And this one, I'm not doing the hinge one on. I'm just going to pull that one color, rubbing with my fingers. You can use a spoon if you want, but for this one, I'm just going to use my fingers. Okay, take a peek. Okay, so there's my first print. I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to come back and I will do more printing on it. Now I'm going to pull another one, same color, using the hinge. And the hinge is nice because it means the paper's not moving all over the place. Okay, so there's the print, there's the plate. Now I'm going to add another color. I'm going to go with a darker blue, ultramarine. And now I want a little more control. So still going to use a flat brush, but it's going to be narrower. Okay. And if I hold my brush kind of low down and I drag across, I will pick up some of that raised texture. Okay, here we go again. Okay, so tonight it's kind of warm, and the paint is drying maybe quicker than I want. So I'm going to add a little more water, and I could come back and, like, if there were certain areas I wanted to be darker, like over here, over here. Let's see what that does. Okay, so see, it's a little darker now. All right, now I'm going to shift. I'm going to use a little yellow ochre. Okay. Okay, so if I put this on thicker and then I scratch in with the back of my paintbrush, I'm doing that sgraffito technique. Showed up a little bit, maybe show up more. Okay, now I'm going to switch to some burnt sienna. And I'm fine for this. It helps to have a lot of brushes on hand, because I'm moving kind of quickly and I don't want to, I don't know, take the time to wash each brush out. I just want to keep going. A finer scratching tool here. Okay. What else? Okay, now I'm going to come in with a darker Prussian blue. And I'm using a finer angled brush here to get a little more precise in specific areas, like the glue gun lines. I think you're going to enjoy this. Very loose and playful. Okay, let's see what that does. Oh, pretty cool. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there. The other thing is, if this paint is still wet on your actual print, you can scrape into the paint on your print while it's still wet. Okay, so I'm going to put those two aside to dry, and I'm going to go back to my original print, and I'm going to do some work on that. Okay, so I'm going to tape down. Of course, wouldn't you know, I forgot my tape. So I'm going to use the tape on the other print. Okay, so I fold, it could be deli paper. You want something see-through, okay? Tape down my deli paper over my print. I'm going to tape my print down over here to secure it. And then I'm going to draw over, you want it see-through because I'm going to draw over my printed glue gun lines. Okay, so then when I fold it over, I can see my drawing through there. As a matter of fact, I'll put a piece of white paper under it so you can see those, you can see these lines. Now I'm going to paint on here and transfer to my print. And just to change things up, I'm going to use a fine brush instead of a big brush so you can see different effects. And I'm going to do, I'm going to do some pattern texture painting. Okay. There we go there. Okay, I didn't quite line that up, so you can see what it looks like when your registration is off. I'll try again. I'm sorry if I'm overloading you. I like projects that you can get multiple things out of, that you get, I'll just say more mileage. Okay, now I'm going to go with some of that burnt sienna. Okay, now I'm going to scratch in. Let's see if that works. Pretty cool. I get the scratch marks. Okay, now some yellow ochre. And I'm blobbing this on pretty thick. Okay, I'm loving it. And there's more I could do. I am going to stop here in a minute.
Laura, I love what's on the tracing paper.
Well, so actually I was going to comment on that. Actually, now you get you get 4 things with this. And if you save the tracing paper, you can use that as collage material. There's some other things you can do with it too, but I'll explain that later. Okay, but I like the printed line quality that I'm getting. I really like it. Okay, let's see. Couple more things here. Okay. Ooh, very cool. Okay, happy with that. All right, I am going to stop the recording.